Hi, everybody. My name is Adam Cohn. I'm the Vice President of Broadcasting here for NCMA Boston. I'm joined by Yurish. Yurish, how are you today?
I'm good, Adam. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. This is another Meet the Speaker series in our March workshop. We have a lot of great sessions here, so we're going to hop right into this one. Yurish's session is Change Management in an Environment of Scope Creep. Yurish, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, Adam. I'm Yej Bietkowski. I'm the VP of Contracts for General Dynamics Mission Systems, headquartered in Fairfax, Virginia. I lead a team of about 170 people in the contracts and subcontracts world, located in the U.S., Canada, and the U.K. I've been in government contracts for 33 years, starting off as an attorney, and then 12 years ago becoming VP of Contracts for GD.
There you go. Um, I love asking this question, especially to a bunch of contracts folks. What got you into your field?
Well, initially, government contracts was sort of an accident for me, right? I started off as a young lawyer with a DC law firm, and I was planning to do a lot of international trade work. But the law firm started off with a large litigation matter, and they needed young associates to dig through documents in a warehouse. Document production in those days was all going through rat-infested warehouses with boxes stored back from the
Yeah.
50s. And so, yeah, so I did that. And I did that for a year and a half on a very important, huge litigation matter, and learned a lot about government contracts in that process. And once you are identified as someone who knows something about a topic, it's hard to change. And so I became a government contracts lawyer.
Yep. That's where that little acronym SME comes in next to the name. It's like, I never wanted this thing, but I have it now. Um, so, again, your session is Change Management in an Environment of Scope Creep. What interests you about the topic that you're going to be presenting on at the March workshop?
Yeah, so like a lot of companies, we have some contracts that become red programs that
Hmm.
become a mess, right? Because of contract cost overrun or schedule problems, and you go back and you figure out what really went wrong, and quite often it's because of scope creep. This is where the customer changes the contract, changes what you initially bargained to sell, and does so sometimes directly through direct changes and sometimes subtly through constructive changes. And if you can't identify those kind of activities, if you can't identify that scope creep, those changes in the contract, you'll have an unhappy customer and an unhappy management team because of the cost increases and schedule increases.
Hmm.
So I've been teaching this within GDMS for a number of years, not only to contract professionals, but also to PMs and engineers, because part of the lesson is that the entire team needs to be aware of this. The government is doing more agile contracting, more collaboration through IPTs, integrated product teams, which is all great. But in that process, you have a lot of decisions, a lot of changes, a lot of new work, a lot of deleted work. And it's really important for our contracts professionals to be there with the program team, with the engineers, to help identify that kind of stuff.
Makes sense to me. So, speaking about this topic and everything you just spoke about, what can people expect to learn during the session?
So during the session, I'll go through some of the basics, the regulations behind the changes concept. But I think the key point will be to discuss constructive changes. These are the type of changes that are not obvious, that aren't going to be written down by a contracting officer, but really will be subtle government actions or inactions
Hmm.
that we as a team, as in contracts, need to identify, raise our hands, alert our management, and then properly identify the customer as changes. So
Hmm.
I'll go through these constructive changes, the most common types, and then I'll address some of the stereotypes and myths about why people aren't all over this topic, why people are willing to let changes sort of fly and lie. It's all about customer satisfaction. Some people say, well, we don't want to get the customer upset. Other folks are like, well, we got margin built into this, or we knew there would be some of this stuff. And it all catches up with you. It's like a death of 1,001 cuts. You wake up one day and you realize that you're millions of dollars in an overrun situation, you're way behind schedule, and it's because of all these little changes that haven't been captured. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that the folks who attend the session will learn a little more about these topics, how to identify them, and how to indoctrinate their entire program team, their engineering team, on how to identify these issues.
Sounds good to me. I know I've been in situations where that's popped up too, and it's like, we were doing so good, and it's like, where did all this come from? So by 1,001 cuts, to just little things just keep building up. I completely understand. So is there anything else that you want to share?
No, I think it's going to be a good session. I hope so. I hope people are interested in the topic, and again, it's not only for contracts professionals, but anybody involved in government contracting. So I hope to see you in the Boston area in a couple of weeks or online.
Excellent. Speaking of that, our NCMA Boston March Workshop, our biggest event of the year for our Boston chapter, March 13th at Bentley University. All of the information can be found on ncmaboston.org. If you can't make it to Bentley University, you can join us online. If you're listening to this early enough, early registration, the discount ends soon, so make sure you sign up. Yours, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you at the March Workshop.
Thanks, Adam. Bye-bye.